If you saw the video where we talked about how to not be like Maul, we're going to be doing the same thing with Savage. So let's get into it. Number 1, letting your emotions control you. If you've been watching my vids for a while, you're probably rolling your eyes right now because I mentioned this a couple dozen times at this point. As of now, most of y'all watching are around my age and are also all male. Even if you're a teen guy, you all understand that in this society, most of us are being heavily influenced not only by the media, not only by our surroundings, but by our feelings. This is what Savage was led by nearly his entire life up until his death. The only reason he was as powerful as he was in Clone Wars was because he was given a power boost by Mother Talzin, and that power boost came with a whole lot of rage. I'm surprised Savage doesn't see red all the time with the way he's always angry and emotional. Wait, if Savage sees red all the time, does he see Maul's tattoo outlines when he looks at his face? Anyways, you get the point. Every time Savage becomes emotional and chooses to be violent, he always loses his fights, whether that be fighting against Ventress, Dooku, Maul, and his final opponent, Sidious. The only fight Savage won was when he fought against Anakin and Obi-Wan, and both Jedi survive, and when he fought and killed Adigalia. And that was only because Adigalia was shook off her game after trying to kick Savage in the leg and it didn't work. My point here is that giving into your negative emotions easily will make your life a living hell, and in some circumstances might be the reason that some people end up losing theirs. Look, I get it. Guys nowadays don't have as many role models to shape them into the stoic men, and I even put myself in this category. That's why it's important that you have a mentor, a master to guide you on your journey. If your mentor only wants to see you benefit from what you learn from him and he expects nothing in return, then you truly found the mentor for you. Be wary of mentors that operate the way Maul and Savage do. Even though there has to be a power dynamic between the two, the student should never test the master because the student believes his rageful power can overcome the master. That's what Savage did to Maul, and we saw firsthand what happened after that. Humble yourself, knowing that you are at your most vulnerable points in your life. Then take that humble mindset to control your emotions. Number 2, relying on someone for constant help. Ever since Savage got his monster-like strength and abilities, he's never really accomplished any amazing feat by himself with the exception of trying to find Maul. And even then, he had the help of Mother Talzin when she gave him that medallion to track Maul. Whether it was Ventress, Dooku, or Maul, Savage always seemed like he needed someone by his side or else he was going to go mad with pure unfiltered rage that he had. Ventress, Dooku, and even Maul had put Savage through so much pressure and pain that all he had to rely on were his volatile emotions, and this contributed to Savage's downfall in the end. In order to not become like Savage in this situation, become a person that refuses to rely on everyone and anyone for help. I'm not saying that you shouldn't rely on someone for help at all, but what I am saying is that you shouldn't be completely dependent on that one person or group of people. Sometimes, that person or those people that you believe to be helping you grow as a person may contribute to your own downfall and you don't even know it. Every person that Savage has worked under, except maybe Maul, used Savage merely as a tool for their own destruction. Ventress used Savage to help her take out Dooku, and Dooku had used Savage to become an evil Sith that will stand by his side when the day would come that the two would fight against Sidious. No matter what, be wary of people, especially those that want to help you. Their intentions may not be as pure as you believe them to be. Create distance between you and the toxic people that you're reliant on, and do so in silence. At times, they won't even notice that you're gone, and you can move on to bigger and better things. Number 3, adopting a toxic mindset. I already mentioned that Savage was basically a wild animal with little to no self-control over his emotions, but because his emotions were always on 10, the way he perceived everything around him and himself were also very toxic. Being constantly beat up and humiliated by people that he sided with also developed his toxic mindset. I kinda already mentioned that previously with Dooku and Ventress, but even with Maul, Savage wanted to rebel against him and fought him, and we all know how that turned out. When it came time for Maul and Savage to fight Sidious, Sidious killed Savage, but not before Savage could say this when he was dying in Maul's company.
Brother, I am an unworthy apprentice. I'm not like you. I never was.
This is honestly a sad way for Savage to go out, because his final words were a letdown to himself, and it also gave us a glimpse into what Savage perceived himself to be. It goes without saying that having a toxic mindset is something that I don't advise you to have, but neither is having a happy all-around positive mindset. There needs to be a balance of both and constant observance of your emotions. Whatever you feel about yourself will translate into what you think about yourself. If you're a guy watching this vid, no matter how old you are, don't listen to your negative emotions. It's like your brain telling you to self-sabotage when in reality, you need to observe the emotion that you're going through and take any precaution to getting rid of that negative emotion, whether that be going to the gym and work out, reading, typing up this long script, or anything productive. You're a man. You're built for hardship, not an easygoing life. Change your mindset to solve problems when they arise. The consequence of not doing so is becoming like Savage. And unfortunately, that's how a lot of people, men especially, perceive themselves to be. And the many, like Savage, pass away from this earth with that mindset. Change for the better. Savage Oppress is an interesting case because just like Maul, Savage was not initially evil or malicious to begin with. Savage was actually a very honorable Zabrak from the small Night Brothers village before he was transformed by witchcraft and manipulated by the Night Sisters, Ventress, and Mother Talzin. There came a point in time where Savage had defended his own friend from being beaten and stood his ground against Ventress, but he wasn't skillful enough to beat her in their fight. When Savage was completely transformed into the beast we all had seen him to be, he had to prove his loyalty to Ventress and the Night Sisters by killing his friend, to which he did. I really don't think that the original Savage himself would kill him, but the warped, heavily manipulated one did. That just goes to show that if you take an individual and manipulate them to appeal in their brokenness or tattered emotions such as their anger, their visions become very clouded and the old person that they once were vanishes completely. I also felt bad for Savage when he was dying with Maul right next to him because his last words were a complete letdown to his potential as a powerful fighter. That just means that in hindsight, Savage never dealt with his self-esteem issues because he always puts himself down and submitted to someone else's will because of that. So for that, I say RIP to Savage, the Zabrak that never had a choice in life to become stronger by his own terms. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, do all that shit. If you made it this far, comment W Savage. If you want to get into contact with me, Insta and Discord for any anime and Star Wars fans will be linked down below in the description. I'm out. Peace.